What is good? How y'all doing? All right, let's get into this post-market analysis. Um, let's see. So I went ahead and made some changes to the alerts so that the next time they come up, we are gonna make some bank, honey. Yes. So at 6, give me a second here. And we're gonna make this one short because I only took one trade. I remember kind of feeling a little bit FOMO-ish, but I'm glad that I waited um, for some type of confluence on my part, and I waited for the pullback. Um, okay, so it came up at 6. Well, I refuse to be too frustrated because I swear, I probably was right at it. So I edited this one. I think the next time we see this alert, um, the way I was taught liquidity, um, if there's sell side liquidity, then we do the opposite and we buy. And if there's buy side liquidity, we do the opposite and we sell. But for whatever it's worth, this indicator that I'm using, um, the times that I've looked at it, it does the opposite, right? So if it says sell side liquidity, then we sell. If it says buy side liquidity, then we buy. Okay. Um, just a reminder. And I mean, at some point I'm gonna start Discord or whatever. But when I tell you I paid for this in blood, sweat, and tears, this 1 hour fair value gap to understand how it plays out, which I think that's what you see right here. I couldn't tell you how many times I jumped into, at 7 o'clock off of a fair value gap and got a 1 hour fair value gap and got liquidated. How much sweat and blood and tears before I finally figured out that it's going to come down to 50% or the VWAP, especially at 7, before it continues to the upside. Um, if you're listening to this before we, you know, start a subscription or whatever, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think so. With that being said, during the live, we did talk about how on the smaller time frames, like the 3 minute time frame, you can go ahead and, kind of like, jump in. There is a little bit of strategy to that too. On a 3 minute gap, on the 3 minute, but on the 1 hour, don't do it. Do not do it. So then here, um, at 6:36, we had um, this alert saying that we had upside. And this is interesting. I'll have to go back and look and see why it's not coming up the way that I like to personally see it. Because this is like, a couple of times this already happened where there's something that I'm looking for it to close, but apparently we did get something at 6:36. Um, Nonetheless, children, nonetheless. Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, that's on the 3 minute. That is so weird. But yeah, no, look at this. Okay, I went off at 6:36. Step 1, bearish internal breakout. Calls, first one of the day, look for calls, entry of blue VWAP, and hold all day, which is basically what happened. Um, the other one that was important was at 6:33. We had a 1 hour bearish breakout. So same thing. We're going up for an hour, which essentially we did that. We went up all the way to had a little bit of a pullback at 7, but you could have pivoted, um, gotten your profit, and then just wait for re-entry to the upside again. More confident. But so I changed the language on this alert to know so that we can be more assertive in jumping into calls when we see this again. Both of these words sat, in tandem with each other. The 1 hour bull change of character as well. At 6:33, both of these went off at the same time, and so that's what we need to look for next time. Um, when it comes to the 3 minutes, okay, I don't really ever like how it looks in post market. Um, the candles look. All right, so sorry guys. Oh, another interesting thing that happened today was we also had a 15-minute gap that was filled. We started off down here, and then and then there was a 15-minute gap here, which something told me to just chart it, and so we did that. We didn't have a gap on the 1 hour, which is more of my favorite um, time frame to play when it comes to the gaps. Uh, but we really haven't filled it, and then at this point, I was starting to feel very, very FOMO-ish, like, oh my God, I feel like I missed out on stuff. And I just kind of stayed patient and waited for a fair value gap. Um, this is where we had the other secondary internal. Oh, this one, I didn't take this one. This one, I wanted to track something that happened. So I've noticed every day with IWM, around 7:12, 7:15, 7:16, clock it. It will give us an internal breakout. So far, because it's only like what, today's the 8th, but so, and it's Thursday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've had around that same time frame. Um, this internal breakout to the upside happened, and I was like, I want to see what happens with it. And so when it first appeared was so the indicator came up, and then it came up at this time at 7:12. This was the candle that it came in on, right? So it comes up when there's a break of structure. So it did go up a little bit. It did like a $10 move, um, or I guess like a 10% move. There was a premium level here, and so um, I actually anticipated it kind of moving a little bit further up, but I remember saying like, "Hey, you guys, this is like a little bit of a doji," and the way that it filled that premium zone that was there, it's just one of those things you have to train your eye for. I mean, the premium zone was literally from here to here. So it had a level of indecision and it wasn't able to flip to the upside. And so then once I saw the second doji, I was like, okay, we're gonna go down. But I had to go get ready to go to work, child. Actually, like right here, yeah, because 7:30, I needed, get dolled up and go to work and all that. So that, and I remember because I was like, "Hey, I remember it was 7:27. I saw this. Um, and so sure enough, got to work and took a look at it. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we thought it was going to recover because it bounced off of this break of structure beautifully, and kind of held its ground, but didn't really quite make it to this would have been the bottom of the equilibrium level right here, or the premium level right here. It failed to break above it and then dropped down to the downside again. But I feel like it's a little bit tricky to navigate. Um, I want to say there wasn't a fair value gap anywhere in between here. And I think that if we were to see this again at 712, it's one of those things like, do you want to jump in and wait for all this drawdown and anxiety? I mean, we even came below the VWAP, but this would have still been here, this internal breakout zone. And so you see that price came down and bounced and then gave you a really nice move to the upside. I think another thing that I'm kind of concerned about, I did watch it, but I did not take a screenshot. But I do remember um, that price did hit a one-to-one return. So at the time that I looked at the contracts here, they were going for like $42 per contract. And um, a one-to-one return means that you would have looked for your contract to hit $82. So it did hit 82. And I want to say when I looked at it, it was either here or here. And so it's one of those things where, you know, if I do kind of remember correctly, it's kind of like, oh, it's so close. And then to have this whole drawdown open below the fast DMA, that had to be frustrating as all get out. And then just hold. But I think one of the things I've learned is like once this internal breakout thing happens, institutions that play this, they're gonna want to hold for their one-to-one. Like they're gonna get it in blood. Okay. And so we saw that again here today where I can confirm, like I was looking at the chart and it did hit 82. I didn't take a screenshot because I was kind of like just busy, but I'll try to do a better job of documenting that. But I want to say for sure, I remember it was like one of these high points, and I was like, oh, okay, it took a while for it to play out. This was around 10 o'clock. Um, it did take a while for it to play out. And then from there, it just never, you know, and I don't really recommend being in a trade past 8:30 because the volume drops significantly, and so you're getting like very tiny, insignificant moves. I know it can seem like a lot happened here. Um, I think part of what has me concerned too is just, you know, I obviously have the rules in place to protect me. I will say, like, this is day 4 of the week, and I have stayed green on all of my trades. They're smaller trades, but they're compounding. Whereas I've seen like other traders that have been trading for a long time um, get red trades. I know that will come with time. You know that one day I'll have my crowd and my people, and have and 8 years under my belt, and we will have red days. But I think what's important for me to remember is that I'm conservative, and um, and I have these rules in place for a reason. And those rules are there to protect me, right? And so it's rules like, you know, over a longer period of time, okay. And this, the 8:30 rule, I've talked about this before, especially like the last week in December. But just to kind of repeat it, and then I'm gonna hop off here. My little Bruno, he stays in drama, y'all. He's doing something. So the rule about the 8:30 is like, let's say like how this is bullish and we're coming out of the zone. You can stay in it as long as price stays above the fast CMA. So sometimes, especially if you look at the last 2 weeks in December, we did go past that 8:30 um, session. Um, Sorry, something distracted me here. I don't know if it's the wind is making my sensors go off. Okay. So, as long as after 8:30, whatever you stay, as long as price stays above the fast CMA, and so as soon, and I do mean as soon as price opens below here, baby, jump out, honey, jump out. It's just not worth it. Um, I, you know, it just is what it is. Um, and so the conservative part of me, I think also just if you heard me kind of talking through the trades and how we manage this pivot level right here, um, whenever we approach pivot levels, like I will tell you guys, hey, let's practice caution here because sellers are going to want to step in here or they're going to start taking profit. So to me, if I hadn't already taken out some form of profit, I would have gotten out somewhere here. Or heck, even like right here, like 8-3. Oh my gosh, I do not like, I think it's the wind. Okay. And then the other thing is, there was something else I wanted to say here. So we attempted to break to the upside. So I would have practiced trying to take some profit here. And then if you have your runners, at that point, part of risk management, like I said, is just it wasn't able to kind of hold above that. This would have been another good area to exit to when we open below this pivot level, just to like really protect your capital. But I really don't recommend like I don't know at some point, especially like if we had gotten in down here at the 6:30, then what's a fast DMA to an exit? Because as long as you're above the fast DMA, then at this point this drawdown is nothing to you. Because at that point, if you're getting in, essentially off of VWAP, then yeah, you're willing to hold way longer, right? Um, and then when you hit the one-to-one return, then that's where you can like scale down a little bit more, just leave your runners. But at some point, um, we just never really went above the one-to-one return from this internal breakout um, till the end of the day. So, was there anything else? I am a little tired, but I feel good. Um, this on the 15 minutes a little bit more dramatic in terms of what happened. So the trade. Ooh. Also, let's kind of pull it up a little bit too, because remember we had the 1 hour internal breakout thing happening. We bounced off of here. We filled this gap, 15-minute gap. Um, and we came up to this resistance level. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Like you see how it came to right here and rejected. That's why, like when I talk you through it, I try to tell you, um, you know, this is what, so 256.71, and the line is right here, 256.85. So 71 to 81, that's 14 cents. And you'll start to see like price starting to reject a little bit. So don't be so greedy that, like to capture this whole move, then, you know, just be willing to just take a bigger chunk than hold on for unnecessarily long. Um, the other thing, let's look at the 1 hour. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Was the 1 hour, how that played out. So we had a beautiful bounce off of here. You could have, jumped in calls above here and understand that it's going to go to try to fill this wick. And then now do the take profit level, but it continued further up to the upside. Um, this strategy that I use, like it likes to go from level to level. And part of it, you guys, um, it's amazing, like to experience what it feels like to have my notes tell me and be accurate. That's to show how much work I put in, but it's been so long. Like, it's really amazing to feel the difference of having more like institutions playing at this time than at the end of the year. Like, I can feel the difference. It's way faster and more momentum. And so it really allowed me to look at things at a smaller, slower time, a pace. But I had forgotten that when the 1 hour internal bearish thing pops up or change of character, I need to come look at it because um, what's important here is that the strategy that I play likes to go from level to level. So I should have known that it was going to try to come to this next zone up here. But that's okay. That's what post market analysis is for. Um, and then here, it's a little bit tricky. I think another take profit zone would have been here. Um, but here you can see it kind of went to 50% of this premium level. And this is a premium level that plays out on all time frames. But the same way how we have a call zone, this is a premium level. This is where it just sounds exactly like what it is. It's a premium level where this is a take profit location for institutions and like retail players, right? You can see that we had a little bit of uncertainty around the previous month high. But this is nice to see as we're closing out, post market, um, that we are trying to break above previous month highs. So this was like December, after a December rally, we're trying to continue to flip the upside. We did have data. I did show it to you guys. Let's look at the data real quick. So I had mentioned this before. We had pre-market data. We had more exports than import. We had more exports than imports. We had more. Um, we had less imports than exports. Hold on, because it's the reverse, right? So we exported more than we imported. We imported less than we exported in the that what we were set to forecast for. Jobless claims were a little bit higher. Non-farm productivity was significantly higher. I think that's great. Um, Jobless claims was higher. Average jobless claims was slightly higher. Used car prices came in at 0.4. Um, and then I'm gonna hit the refresh button here because I feel like some of it is still loading. Hopefully, it's still available. Let's see. And we had mortgage rate stuff come in. Right about the same. 30-year mortgage rate slightly higher. Consumer credit change. Oh wow, dropped significantly. We went from 7 billion to 4 point. That's almost half. And then the Fed balance sheet. Tomorrow we have data at 7 or pre-market. I I haven't done any swing trades. Um, I don't like, there were a couple of trades that I did, swing trade, and honey, I made money on those. And then every time after that I try to do it, I basically gave back whatever I had made from my swing trades. Like I had two massive back to back. And it's one of those things, like this is why journaling is so important, because I remember going back and I'm like, what did I see? What exactly did I see? And trying to recalculate what it was that I saw. But, compared to how I take notes now, let me see. We have pre markets, data for housing starts, unemployment. All right, so I'm pretty much done. I think I'm just curious. Obviously, let me see. I'm just curious to see what happened with QQQ. I decided not to trade QQQ, although QQQ was good to me earlier this week. Let me tell you, it kept crossing the lines that I had. So I had marked this level right here for us to look for puts. QQQ will look at 1 hour for puts. And tomorrow might be the day, y'all. Tomorrow is Friday. Let me just tell you, I am a little bit chatty, you guys, but I feel good. I'm tired, but not as tired as maybe because the weekend's coming. Anyways, let's just jump into this. So, um, thing we want to remember for tomorrow is that uh, institutions like to get in and out early. They like to head into the weekends early. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If they like it, I absolutely love it. Um, and so with that being said, I anticipate fast momentum. The other thing about fast momentum at open of market, I think that it allow yourself to feel FOMO in the sense of like if you feel like the move just happened so quickly and you couldn't jump in and it's not giving you the pullback that you need to, you just have to be okay with it and just acknowledge it and just wait for another setup or wait for another Friday when you can, be able to recognize what you need to do quicker or just really wait for your strategy to play out the way that you need it to. But if anything after 7:30, like after that first hour, just like temper yourself. The other thing is you want to protect your profit. Like you don't want to, especially like for me, like how I've been green all week. I don't want to go in and get my profit back on Friday. So um, and I've done all of that before. So with QQQ, anyways, so it kept crossing here, and then took a nice. It could have paid. Y'all, probably once you crossed here, I know people must have made money off of QQQ, but I think, it just is what it is. I didn't want to keep jumping around, and I was already kind of feeling just on edge. So, but yeah, this QQQ could have made me quick, fast money because look at this, just solid. Now that being said, we do have a little bit of rotation level here going on. I'm gonna move this down to here. I'm gonna move this alert down here. Um, because I feel like if we, this is a rotation level. I think I might be repeating myself a little bit now. But this is a rotation level. Oh, it's not gonna let me, come on. It's funny how I'm a little precise. Anyways, um, if I see this maybe tomorrow, I might look at puts. This is an equally choppy zone too, because this is called actually to just be conservative. Ooh, my computer's acting up. Just to be conservative. You know what? I'm okay with putting it here. I want to trust myself to say that, okay, at the time I place this, I wanted to start putting eyes on this, and I'm going to be aware that this is a call zone. And then at that point, this is also this level right here. If we break below this, then that's where I feel like super mega ultra comfortable taking puts to fill this gap. Okay. At some point, y'all, I'm excited because at some point I'm gonna have like more monitors where I can look at stuff more comfortably. You know, like I'll probably have one monitor for SPY, one for QQQ, and one for IWM. But right now, we're working with what we have. And then I'm just curious to see what happened with SPY. Because SPY, none of my alerts went off, so I'm thinking they went to the upside. Interesting. Mm. Spy was a little bit problematic for you guys if you guys traded Spy today. Spy was being a bad girl. Let me see. So, where's my levels that I marked off on Spy? Yeah, not a very nice setup at all, you know. And I can understand why some traders like to have at least three in their pocket. Um, and so if you're looking across the board at the three of them, this one did not have a very clean setup at all. We attempted to break above the previous week high and previous day low. But I think in terms of ETFs, like SPY is one of my first loves. QQQ was Bay for a long time, but IWM stole my whole entire heart, y'all. Like, so I have love for all three of these. Um, QQQ kept you got. I think most of you guys must have seen like this morning when I opened up the live. QQQ was begging me to come make this money, and I was like, no, no. IWM has my heart, and it just is what it is. I have to respect what I was going through. I just didn't want to be jumping around a lot. So I think that concludes our post-market analysis for today. I think just remembering, we like to go from level to level. Oh, let me set my alarm. Like I had set my alarm for 7 a.m., but I think I wanted to set it for 6:59 because I really liked how we 1 minute before we moved switched over to the 1 hour time frame. Let me just make a note on here. I really liked how we switched over to the 1 hour time frame and at right before 7. And we were able to see, you know, um, a really good setup in terms of what we needed to do. Let's see here. Let's just see what's happening on the daily. Ooh, that's beautiful. Look at that. We have somewhat, I don't know if some people count the way, but we have a bullish engulfing candle here on the daily. If we can break above this, we have more upside. This is previous day high. Um, I can save some time by just doing this here. Doing this is gonna make me want to sleep in tomorrow because I'm like, oh, I already marked my levels. No, I already feel like tomorrow I'm gonna wake up with so much energy because it's like the weekend is coming, and then I'm gonna be like full of energy. Um, End of one day red zone. Let's see, what is this? This can come up a little bit more, but I'm just gonna leave it. I kind of like doing post-market analysis close to bedtime too, because like I just want to stare into my mind, like kind of play it out in my mind. So 24-hour directionally, we're bullish. 12 hour. Ooh, we got another fair value gap, but again, yes, we're bullish, but we're probably gonna try to come down here to this 50% or at least this VWAP. We're gonna, you know, try to just pick up orders at below previous month high and above previous day high before we can see the bounce to the upside. Plus, we have a 12-hour order block, bullish order block. Let's see, 4 hour. Kind of feel like if we break below this, let me look what's happening at the 1 hour. Because I'm gonna line up some stuff right here. So So what I want to look for here is, yeah, basically if it breaks it below here, any one of these, or even here, and we have downside. Um, let's see. This needs to come up here. Um, all right, so that kind of concludes, and then let's see, week high. This week high is just more of a reminder for me to keep tracking to kind of have a mental of when you switch from weak high to low to strong high. So I just want to get myself normalized to keep checking for that. What else? All right, so this is already longer than it should be, and then it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, pre-market. So I'll see you guys 6:15 tomorrow morning, the latest. But I have a feeling, who knows? I feel like I'll wake up early tomorrow and kind of just be in a really good mood and come on a little bit early. But anyways, I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you got some gems from me just talking it through. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye. Bye again. Cheers.